Thank you all for having me today. My origin story is a story of rescue. I was adopted as an infant and adopted into a Jewish family, a family that couldn't have their own children. So my origin story is one of being rescued by the Jewish people, being rescued by Jewish parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins. And I was raised in a private Jewish day school in Atlanta, Georgia. So I grew up every single day with half of my subjects being Judaica and half of them being secular studies. I grew up with the great privilege of sitting at the feet of survivors every Yom Hashoah and learning from their stories, hearing in detail as a child their stories. We had graphic pictures and imagery because they didn't know yet how to educate children about trauma. So we took into our bones the trauma of our people. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. So my Jewish day school was in the South, where I had the great good fortune. My mother was very involved with the civil rights movement. We worked on the first Black mayor of Atlanta, Maynard Jackson, on his campaign. He would come pick me up at school, at the Hebrew Academy often, and it was always, an interesting thing for the staff. I learned early, listening to our history as the Jewish people, learning it every day in school, sitting at the feet of survivors, sitting at the feet of Coretta Scott King every Martin Luther King week. I learned the incredible dignity with which people fight for what is good, what is just, what is right. I learned that we can respond to hate and danger and fear with our own anger and bitterness, but that doesn't serve to create a life that anybody really wants to live. And the survivors that came to talk to us, the folks who were very involved in the civil rights movement, who spoke to us, spoke of wanting to live a life of meaning and contributing out of an energy of a sense of what's possible and not accepting from anybody any sense that we are limited in any way other than by what we fail to dream that we can make happen. Those stories that I heard growing up, we then shifted into a new kind of Holocaust education, which was all about resistance, that we shouldn't talk about like lambs. We should talk about the places that we resisted. So that took up a couple of decades of how we talked about Holocaust education, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, all of the people who resisted. So we did that for a while as a way to try to talk also about the incredible energy and courage and bravery of people and the righteous Gentiles who risked their lives, often lost their lives, to stand with us, to stand with LGBTQIA people, disabled people, political opponents of the Nazi regime. But we're in a new phase for some of us about relating to the Holocaust, to the Shoah, and to the stories I grew up hearing. And now I am in the place that was studying so many aspects of the history and the experience of people. And then there was resistance as the focus. And now for me, it's about focusing on resilience, because my own community has burnt to the ground. All of those mementos of my family, they're all gone. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, all of the precious things they handed down to me are gone. My daughter will not inherit any of that. At 60 years old, I now understand what made those Holocaust survivors so beautiful, radiant, inspiring. Same with those who were on the front lines of hate, of racism, and all kinds of otherisms. What made them so inspiring and such shining examples for those of us who wanted to spend our lives being like them, what made them like that was their resilience. and their commitment to living deep, meaningful, joyful lives in touch with pain, in touch with reality, in touch with danger, in touch with all of the ways that we have to be careful and vigilant. And they modeled for every one of us with every conversation, every handshake, every kiss on the cheek. They modeled for us what it is to live into the dignity of hope and about what's possible. That is what LA will require for us in the Palisades, for those affected by, it wasn't just the Palisades, right? So everyone affected by these horrible wildfires. We are gonna have to lean into what Rabbi Ed Feinstein so wonderfully called being 10th of Av Jews. He said, yeah, Tisha B'Av, yeah, on the 9th of Av, we get together and remember all of the many destructions, yes, but we are the Jewish people. And the Jewish people, if you're sitting here or you're allied with us, then you're about being 10th of Av Jews. Yes, we mourn. There's gonna be a piece of charcoal from someone's home that I will pick up and draw on that board for that incredible piece of art. I hope I can do it, because that's what mine looks like now. We are 10th of Av people. That is why we're still here. Let us do everything we can to work together, to work against division and separation and hate and otherizing. Let us work together to empower each other in all of the ways that we can. This city, our community, our city's leadership deserves our help, our support, and our trust and vision that no matter how hard it is, no matter how deep the trauma, we are the Jewish people, we are Los Angeles, we are allies in the fight for making this world the just, equitable, compassionate, thriving place that we know it can be. Thank you.